My iPhone now is all bloop, bloop, bloop. Apple devices are getting a new look in the fall, and early previews of these operating system updates are now out in the wild. But when it comes to iPhone changes, people are divided about if this is going to be really futuristic and beautiful or really annoying and hard on our eyes. You see, the convo is getting heated on social media, and that's because Apple makes all of these buttons and menus look like they are made of a clear jelly liquid as they float over the text. So there are worries about legibility. And there's lots more animation here for your eye to take in. It's so much more wobble and boingy and blurby. Okay, it doesn't actually make those sounds, it's just what I imagine the interface should sound like. I have downloaded the developer beta to my iPhone, but it's still a work in progress and it's meant for developers. So just consider it a guide to where we are heading next in Apple's design. Heading to a place where tech is organic and alive. Even though it's not organic yet, it's still on a metal and glass rectangle. There are also accessibility options in settings to toggle the transparency of this effect. So this is an evolving thing to watch. But the big WWDC keynote presentation involved way more than just this new liquid glass design. Sure, it's what everyone focuses on, but there are a lot of small changes, and 3 of them will impact your day-to-day life, beyond just making all your apps look like Casper the Ghost. I feel so young and so old with that reference. Let's talk about what Apple's adding to your devices that will change how we interact with the world, and a few questions that come with those changes. This is one more thing. You might be familiar with Google's trick on Android called Circle to Search, but iPhone users don't need to doodle on our phones. Instead, folks will soon take screenshots to search. That's because visual intelligence will pull up more info on things in a screenshot. And this quickly became my favorite feature from the whole Apple presentation. Because if someone sends you a flyer or an image of an event invitation, as we see in this demo, well, you just take a screenshot and bam, it is put in your calendar as an event. Now, with all the random birthday party invites and community and school events that I have to keep track of for my family, I am excited and I'm feeling more sane already. The second big thing that's coming to iOS is also something I have a bunch of questions about. You see, Apple Maps will understand your routines and give advice even if you're not actually in the map app getting directions. So let's say every morning you are always dropping your kids off to school before heading to work or whatever your normal routine is. You obviously are not plugging in directions for the normal everyday driving stuff. But you could get a pop-up alert if Maps thinks that you should take an alternative route to the thing that you always drive to every morning. This is where I'm wondering, how much data does the iPhone need before it figures out my normal routine, especially when we don't always have the same routine pattern Monday through Friday? But I do think folks will appreciate how it very clearly prompts you to turn on this setting in Maps only if you want it. And it makes it clear that the info stays on device for privacy. This also opens up the option for Maps to keep a list of places you visited recently. That's another big win for my spotty memory. But my question is, how accurate is all this going to be? Because right now, I use Apple's Journal app to automatically nudge me to write journal entries to the places I visited in the day. But sometimes the journal suggestions are wrong. Like if I go to a nail salon, it thinks I went to the cafe next door. So it's close, but not always perfect in the Journal app, which makes me wonder how often the Maps app will get it right. The third thing that I think will impact us the most is how many changes are coming to your phone calls. Because this is an iPhone, and yes, we still make calls on iPhones. The phone is becoming a type of robot secretary. It screens calls before you answer. My colleague Scott Stein got a demo of this in action. Let's say someone you don't know is calling to schedule a furniture delivery. The robot voice picks up first and tells the associate to explain the reason for the call, and it will see if I am available to answer. Then the recipient, that's me in this case, will see the text of what was said and choose to pick up or not. Robots are also joining in your call to help with live translation between different languages. I tried it out. It took a little work before getting it all set up, but a voice entered the call and translated both English and Spanish for both people in the chat. So this can open up many more opportunities for conversations and help with confidence, so you can just pick up the phone even if there is a language barrier. there. I know the Android users watching this are laughing at me because they already had live translatabilities, among other features I've mentioned, but every time we can make translation better in a society, that's a good thing. And here, you don't need a special app. It works on landlines even. But the new iOS 26 is the one that adds the translator to the conversation. And fourth on the list, honorable mention, is something that will immediately change your life if you happen to use an iPad, because the iPad is getting a new interface that looks more like a Mac. It has windows that you can tile around and multitask, and there are menu bars. It makes you think I have to buy an iPad to actually get work done now. I think I'll have to go in deeper on this in a future episode soon. But this whole event didn't dwell on AI, and Siri wasn't a big part of these conversations, but most of the new features were like helpful assistants, just not labeled as Siri. And that's okay, because in the end, it doesn't matter what you call it if it just helps you. I would like to spend more time diving into how the new Spotlight search bar on Macs will work. It's said to be better at combing through your files and requests, but to me, it felt like it could have been marketed as a Siri or an AI thing, and it wasn't. Also, Apple Watch is coming out with a workout buddy that cheers you on. But is this also a thing that could have been marketed as Siri, but it's not Siri? These are all things we have to look into more in the months to come. And visually, we will see how much this new glass look changes how we use the iPhone, or if it's just a shiny toy right now until Apple starts using it for other products, like glasses or AR headsets. Our CNET team is diving into all the aspects of the news, so be sure to subscribe as we learn more about all the operating system changes, and let me know in the comments what you want to hear more about next and how you feel coming out of this year's event. And I'll catch you next week for one more thing.